Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of BTTH the Flame Emperor episode number 40 based on novel. So let's start. The corners of Xiao Yan's mouth twitched, and then brilliance flashed around his body. 3,000 thunderbolts were exerted to the extreme, and the whole person disappeared out of thin air. Although he didn't know what was in the coffin, Xiao Yan also vaguely guessed from the fearful look on the werewolf's face before that the contents were definitely not simple, so the werewolf's two fangs must not be allowed to open the coffin without authorization. When it reappeared, Xiao Yang had already appeared in front of two fangs, one black and one white. Xiao Yang's soul power has always been tightly locked on the two red fangs and the other black, so Xiao Yang was able to find it so quickly. Above the coffin, the two hole seals seemed to be exactly the same as this fang. Then, just when a Dao Fang was about to reach the whole seal of the coffin, Xiao Yang's milky white flame vindictive energy instantly released, and the terrifying energy instantly shocked a Dao Fang. Then Xiao Yang was also a quick-witted leader to take it into his pocket. A Dao Fang had just started, and an extremely gloomy and cold aura came from it, but Xiao Yang couldn't care less, and directly put it behind his back. "It's okay." Xiao Yang sighed in shock, and then put it up to the fangs. Although there was some breath and soul on it, it was too weak. The Golden Dragon King also didn't care about Xiao Yang's situation, and then stared blankly at the coffin in the secret room, as if the aura inside was somewhat similar to his own. It seems to have a familiar smell. Outside the passage, when Xiao Yang killed the werewolf, Yueru and Mu Feng also woke up, but they felt a little pain in their heads. "Where's Xiao Yang?" Yueru also gently rubbed her forehead with her jade hand, and then asked softly. "To be caught in the werewolf scheme, really?" Mu Feng also said helplessly. "Xiao Yang, he should be chasing the werewolf. Look, there is a small door here, obviously it is from here," Mu Feng said, pointing his finger to a road next to him. "Let's go find him," Yueru said softly. "Let's go." Mu Feng was not a hesitant either. After speaking, he and Yueru moved forward one after the other. This happened just after entering the perimeter of the first floor of the Infernal Corpse Forest, so the two of them also knew the importance of the team. After Xiao Yang accepted the two fangs, he stood quietly outside the steps of the coffin, watching carefully inside the secret room. This is a very large cave, more than 10 feet wide, and it is extremely dark inside, without a single light. I am afraid that it has not seen sunlight for thousands of years. However, Xiao Yang also faintly felt that there seemed to be something hidden in this cave, which had been preventing his soul power from exploring. This thing is very strange, but unfortunately Xiao Yang could not guess what it was. Xiao Yang pondered for a while, milky white flame energy flowed around his body, and the ancient ruler of eternal fire in his hand flickered with milky white light, and the different fire firmly protected him. At the same time, Xiao Yang placed a light shield condensed by Do Qi outside his body, carefully protecting himself. After everything was almost ready, Xiao Yang stepped on the steps and walked slowly towards the coffin. Xiao Yang in the darkness was like a bright light, slowly illuminating the surroundings. Just as he stepped on the steps, Xiao Yang's face showed a serious expression, and there was a hint of vigilance in his eyes. Because when he just stepped on the steps, he felt that countless invisible and eerie auras were crazily eroding his fighting spirit. Xiao Yang was a little shocked in his heart. These invisible breaths are not powerful, but what is surprising is that there are so many of them. I am afraid they are not under tens of thousands of Dao, and although his Do Qi and strange fire protect him, they continue to go forward and backward. Under the corrosion of the aura, there was also a faint weakening, which was beyond Xiao Yang's imagination. When Xiao Yang approached the center of the secret room, the number of unknown tiny auras around him had exceeded 500,000, and a trace of sweat appeared on Xiao Yang's forehead. The invisible small breaths around him kept eroding the fighting spirit on Xiao Yang's body. The dazzling milky white fighting spirit at this time had slowly dimmed, and the surroundings were getting darker and more mysterious. Xiao Yang's face was serious, his eyes were full of mental energy, he snorted lightly, and then his whole body was possessed by flames, like a fire god. The appearance of the strange fire instantly illuminated the entire secret room, and then with the release of mental power, although the mental power is very small, Xiao Yang was surprised to find that ghost qi can not only increase mental power, on the contrary, mental power is also a ghost, the nemesis of anger. This made Xiao Yang immediately see those tiny breaths that were originally invisible. But after seeing it, it made his heart pale. It turned out that these tiny breaths were all black auras, not evil. It's just that these auras all carried an evil aura, which made Xiao Yang always think it was some kind of ghost. Why did these Qi Orns automatically attack Xiao Yang who entered? The answer is also obvious. Obviously, such a weak breath is protecting the coffin in the center. Xiao Yang's mental power was released, and his eyes instantly glowed with a different look, and he slowly stopped at the place where the coffin was located in the center of the cave. There, outside the coffin, there was a black beam of light several feet in diameter. Xiao Yang tried to use his mental power to attach to his eyes to explore the mysteries there, but as soon as his mental power got close, he would be distracted by the ghostly energy around the black beam of light, and he couldn't find anything. Xiao Yang's expression showed a hint of solemnity. The milky white light around him flashed, and the huge soul force rushed towards the beam of light, illuminating the surroundings again. Looking at the black beam of light carefully, Xiao Yang realized that even his mortal soul power at the Emperor realm couldn't see through the black beam of light, and he didn't know what was hidden inside. This made Xiao Yang there was a hint of curiosity in his heart. The more difficult it was to understand, the more interested he was, and he must figure it out. Xiao Yang slowly walked around the black beam of light, with a contemplative look in his eyes, thinking about how to crack the aura of the beam of light and explore the secrets hidden in it. However, he saw his master, the Golden Dragon King, hovering above the coffin all the time, staring at some mysterious words on the coffin. And Xiao Yang couldn't read these words clearly, so he had to look at the black beam of light. The aura in this black beam of light is also eerie, so Xiao Yang couldn't detect it with all his powers, so Xiao Yang had to give up on this, and then stared at his master, the Golden Dragon King, hoping to find something. After all, his master, the Golden Dragon King, is well informed. Judging from the contemplative appearance of his master, he obviously knows the words on the coffin. Take out the 2 fangs and insert them into the whole seal. This coffin seems to be unusual. The Golden Dragon King also spoke. When Xiao Yang heard this, he also gently took out the 2 fangs, and then slowly inserted them into the whole seal above the coffin. Just listening to the sound of Koza, the 2 fangs and the whole seal on the coffin perfectly overlapped, and then the strange thing was that the coffin was not opened, followed by a passionate dragon roar in the black beam of light next to it. Not good. The Golden Dragon King also shouted loudly, and then the Golden Dragon King and Xiao Yang were sucked into the black beam of light, and the secret room returned to dead silence. Following the shout of their master, the Golden Dragon King, the 2 were also sucked into the black beam of light. As soon as he entered the black beam of light, Xiao Yang quickly swallowed a few medicinal pills, instantly regaining a lot of fighting spirit, and then the milky white flames all over his body shone brightly, illuminating the entire space at once. Xiao Yang looked around carefully, and his face changed greatly. He never imagined that it was completely different from what he imagined. According to Xiao Yang's guess, there were indeed some secrets in this black beam of light, but he didn't expect that there would be any secrets in this black beam of light. There is still room. Originally, in Xiao Yang's guess, the black beam of light was only about a foot in size from the outside, so it probably wouldn't be too big inside. Who knows? At this time, I found out that this is an independent space. Moreover, this space is an independent space at first glance. Compared with the ancient emperor's cave house left by the ancient emperor Tuorsha, it is not too much. There are no flashing nebulae and ancient auras, but the surrounding area is extraordinarily wide, as if there is no boundary. The whole space is as open as the land, without the slightest trees and buildings, but it is not clear under the cover of some gas. The full face of this space. Countless quiet winds blew past Xiao Yang, containing traces of cold air. There were so many different kinds of auras in the air, all of which did not interfere with each other and flew freely. This should be a small space. Previously, I saw that the text on the coffin was somewhat similar to the dragon inscriptions of our dragon clan, but if I didn't pay attention, it was ignored by the black beam of light. The Golden Dragon King's voice also sounded. Longwen. Xiao Yang also laughed immediately. If it is Longwen, then his master, the Golden Dragon King, is the true overlord of the dragon family. There is absolutely no dragon language that his master, the Golden Dragon King, does not know. Master, what did you say above the coffin? Xiao Yang also asked enthusiastically, not at all worried about this small space. The top of the coffin seems to say that there is a dragon soul here, and the writing on the back is too vague, so I can't read it clearly. The Golden Dragon King also frowned, then stared at the small space and said, Dragon soul? Xiao Yang was also surprised. Yes, the dragon soul is the lineage of our dragon family. The dragon body was destroyed and the soul power was severely damaged. I can also be regarded as a kind of dragon soul. The Golden Dragon King also said. At this time, the milky white flames all over Xiao Yang's body exploded, and the space around him suddenly became bright. Looking at the surroundings carefully, the 2 of them seemed to be standing in a space with no front, back, left, right, and couldn't tell the exact direction at all. That feeling was really weird, making Xiao Yang somewhat uncomfortable. Then Xiao Yang's eyes flickered slightly, and he began to mobilize his soul power to spread out around him. The huge soul power was instantly dispersed into 10 paths, rapidly spreading around in different directions. In midair, Xiao Yang's whole body shone with milky white flames, just like the scorching sun in the sky, illuminating a large area of the sky at once. The milky white light on Xiao Yang's body gradually weakened, and the countless dark red gas around him slowly and quickly approached him. Xiao Yang's eyes were calm, and he said to himself, "The gas in here seems to have a hint of coldness, which helps these ghosts to cultivate, but it is not a good thing for humans. Once they absorb too much, then it is inevitable that He has turned into a complete ghost. There seems to be something here, and I feel some familiar smells." The Golden Dragon King also muttered to himself. Xiao Yang was also surprised when he heard the words. If his master, the Golden Dragon King, felt familiar, then there should be no possibility except for the dragon family. Soon, the surrounding dark red gas was isolated by Xiao Yang, and then Xiao Yang began to move his body again, choosing a random direction and leaving. Suddenly Xiao Yang's body froze, and he turned to look behind him. There, Xiao Yang's soul force seemed to sense a very powerful and wild aura. The breath was very violent, but it was difficult to find out what it was, but Xiao Yang's soul power was swallowed by it and did not return to Xiao Yang's body. Xiao Yang stopped. The 10 soul power exploration has returned to 9, and nothing has been found in these 9. The only remaining one was the rear that had moved previously, which made Xiao Yang feel a little vigilant in his heart. This space is very mysterious. It seems to be a special space for placing or sealing something, and it hides many unknown secrets. Be careful. The Golden Dragon King's voice also echoed in this space. Xiao Yang heard the words, milky white flames covered his whole body, and then followed his master Jinlong King slowly towards his back. Since he came here, he naturally couldn't return empty-handed, and Xiao Yang was also curious about the familiar feeling that his master Jinlong King said. He remembered that the familiar feeling he said last time was that he had discovered Qing Yuan. This time, in the dark space, I saw 2 rays of light streak across the sky, and disappeared in a blink of an eye. Xiao Yang judged the direction based on the power of his soul that had been devoured before, and soon came to that place. Xiao Yang stopped 10 feet away, while his master, the Golden Dragon King, was floating above him, and then Xiao Yang carefully looked at the ball of light that flickered, feeling a strange feeling in his heart, as if there was something in the ball of light. What is calling itself? Just when Xiao Yang was looking at the ball of light, the aura in the ball of light had already discovered Xiao Yang's existence, but he had not found the Golden Dragon King floating above his head. I saw the ball of light suddenly changed from a jong to 10 feet, and appeared in front of Xiao Yang's eyes in a blink of an eye. Xiao Yang hurriedly retreated 10 feet in shock. With this ball of light. In that ball of light, a voice full of magnetism at this time said, "It's really interesting that a human kid at the peak of the 3-star Do-D would enter here. But why did you appear here? This is a unique secret realm in the infernal corpse forest. Since the formation of this secret realm, no creatures have ever come in. How did you get in?" This mighty voice echoed here. In the film space, there are many voices full of domineering. Hearing that, Xiao Yang was also full of flames all over his body, carefully guarding against the light ball in front of him. This light ball could tell his own strength at a glance, and it was enough to prove that the creatures hidden in the light ball were powerful. Looking at the ball of light, Xiao Yang said solemnly, "Senior is really good at seeing, and you can see my strength at a glance. I just entered here by accident, so I will retreat." Xiao Yang also ran up after speaking. Because when Xiao Yang was in close contact with the ball of light, he found that the aura in the ball of light was very powerful, which made Xiao Yang feel a sense of fear. As soon as Xiao Yang said these words, he retreated crazily, and from the ball of light in front of Xiao Yang, a ball of red energy suddenly shot out, chasing after Xiao Yang viciously. The voice said indifferently and wildly, "After thousands of years of loneliness, now I have met another human being. You despicable and shameless human beings are all disgusting things that do not trust credit. Today I will eat you. It is considered get back a little interest for me being sealed here for so many years." In the ball of light, the voice laughed wildly. The Golden Dragon King in midair has also been pondering from the beginning to now watching the fun. Now the Golden Dragon King also knows what kind of creature this light ball is, but the Golden Dragon King has no intention of shooting, watching Xiao Yang and the light ball chasing. Although there seemed to be a random wave in the ball of light, when the dark red energy attacked Xiao Yang realized how powerful it was. Then, with a heavy wave of the ancient ruler of eternal fire in his hand, a ruler glowing with soaring flames instantly met the red energy. The two powerful energies collided head to head, and suddenly produced a shocking explosion, emitting a splendid light, offsetting the terrifying energy storm. Xiao Yang also looked at the strange light group coldly, and said coldly, "Senior makes such a big fight as soon as he makes a move, but it hurts the prestige of the senior, and why do you hate humans so much?" After Xiao Yang finished speaking, silver light flashed all over his body, and he moved several dozen meters away in an instant, avoiding another attack from the light ball. In the air, Xiao Yang's body flashed with silver light, and there were 3 illusory silhouettes left, apparently left by the extreme 3,000 thunderbolts. There was a slight sound of surprise in the glowing red ball of light, only to hear a voice from the ball of light, "I didn't expect you to have such a high-level body technique." Guangqiu also found that although the human boy in front of him was too weak, his movement was also fast, and every time his powerful attack was cleverly avoided by him. "Well, no human beings have entered here for thousands of years, so I can chat with you to relieve your boredom, and let you understand that if you die, you will die." The ball of light also said, "I have already said that this space is a mysterious secret realm in the infernal core. Speaking of which, this secret realm is actually a small space created by you despicable and shameless humans. Back then, you humans led me here to plot against me on the pretext of helping me survive the calamity, so you humans are all untrustworthy people. After you deceived me here, you created this secret space and put I'm sleepy for 1,000 years." The ball of light also said, and there was some anger and pride in his voice, and the anger was calculated by human beings against him. Hearing this, Xiao Yang's voice came from all directions, making people unable to tell his specific location. "Why do humans trap you here? Is it because you have a tendency to kill, senior? And if you save the day, how can you believe it, senior? Will humans help you?" Fart, that despicable and shameless human back then got a tattered immortal sword by chance, so he wanted to seal me into that sword and become a sword spirit. So they did everything possible to deceive me here under the pretext that they could help me survive the calamity, and wanted me to surrender. It's a pity that although I was destroyed by them, the dragon body was destroyed by them, but with the strength of my dragon soul, they were not able to get me. When the 3 of them were here, they fought with me with all their might, but 1 of them died and 2 were injured, and they fled with the broken sword, so you humans are really shameless things. Originally, I wanted to destroy the broken iron sword, but I don't know what the sword was made of. I couldn't destroy it. I was really mad at me. However, although I can't destroy that thing, it's still very easy for me to kill you today. Suffer to death, human." After saying this, the red ball of light instantly revealed its original appearance. Xiao Yang saw a fire dragon with a length of several tens of meters. It opened its mouth and split its mouth. The dragon's soul transformed into a fire dragon. Although Xiao Yang could not see the tiny dragon scales on the fire dragon, the dragon claws and tail were all revealed in midair. The fire dragon's eyes burst red, his body swayed wildly, and he opened his mouth to spit out a flame, which madly rolled out a distance of more than 10 meters. Wherever the flames passed, the space exploded slightly, and Xiao Yang's body was also exposed under the red light. I saw Xiao Yang facing the red light without dodging or evading. The milky white flames all over his body were brilliant, and the whole person seemed calm. After all, although the strength of this dragon soul is extremely tyrannical, Xiao Yang is also not afraid of it. Xiao Yang has a body blessed by 22 different types of fire. If he is still afraid of the flames of this fire dragon, then the title of Emperor Yang will be in vain. Layers of milky white flames quickly swept the red flames in the air. Immediately, the 2 flames brought up 2 different air currents. As soon as the 2 came into contact, a fierce friction sound and a dense explosion sounded, flashing beautiful and dazzling strange colors in the air. Xiao Yang's whole body was filled with vindictive energy, and he saw milky white flames pouring into the air incessantly. Xiao Yang's eyes were wide open, and under the cover of flames, the huge soul force attacked the dragon soul head in midair. Huang Quan is angry. The confrontation between the milky white flame and the fiery red flame has just ended, and suddenly the huge soul force moved towards the weakest brain of the fire dragon defense with a destructive momentum. The fiery red light flowed around the dragon soul, and Xiao Yang's terrifying soul power attack instantly hit the dragon soul's brain. Then Xiao Yang suddenly discovered that there was a faint energy flowing on the surface of the dragon soul. Dragon Gang. The Golden Dragon King also recognized this thing at a glance. That's true, the faint layer of energy in the dragon soul is the Dragon Gang. The so-called Dragon Gang is the usual defense method of the dragon race, which forms a layer of energy on its surface to protect its own body. This defense is extremely powerful. However, this method can only be mastered by a few powerful dragon clan. After all, just like the bloodthirsty dragon lizard that Xiao Yang encountered before, they did not master the dragon gang, so it can be seen that this dragon gang is rare. I didn't expect that the strength of this dragon soul is not bad, it's just right to be a ruler. Hee hee hee. The Golden Dragon King also continued to watch the battle between the two of them. After all, although the dragon soul's strength was good, he still had to examine his temperament. The body-protecting dragon gang and Xiao Yang's huge soul attack, two forces of decidedly different nature, instantly burst into a violent and domineering force. I saw a huge dragon body with a dragon soul that was several tens of meters long, suddenly trembling rapidly, and a wild and furious dragon roar sounded like it was about to tear apart the world, which was astonishing. Long Soul's body shrank rapidly and became much smaller at once, looking at Xiao Yang with horror in his eyes. Dragon Soul roared, "Human, what exactly is that power you just had? Why have I never heard of it? Why does this power specifically destroy my brain nerves and kill people? You are so vicious." Xiao Yang sneered and said, "Senior and I just met, and we had a big fight. The junior naturally can only use his own way and control his own body." In midair, Xiao Yang was standing, and flames filled his body. The milky white flames that had just scattered around because of the battle, slowly under Xiao Yang's careful control, formed a huge net and headed towards the dragon soul hood. The dragon soul's whole body shone with light, and the body shrank to about 10 feet again. With fierce eyes, looking at the big net with milky white flame, I feel that the net not only has a terrifying temperature, but also has a terrifying power that devours everything. Seeing this, Dragon Soul is thinking about something, and then his body also declined rapidly. Seeing the dragon soul descend, Xiao Yang's body also descended, and his speed was no slower than his. At this time, Xiao Yang, ever since he was sucked into this mysterious space by the black beam of light outside the coffin, felt that this secret realm was not so simple, and this seemingly blank secret realm also revealed its original appearance after the descent of the dragon soul. I don't know how long it has been descending, but Xiao Yang finally felt the bottom, and there seemed to be a trace of scorching hot breath. Slowly, the further down, the hotter it became, but the dragon soul seemed more energetic. Finally, Xiao Yang realized that there was a fiery red underneath. It turned out to be a rift in a volcano. The bottom was full of raging flames and surging lava. No wonder it was so hot. Xiao Yang's soul power carefully probed the situation below, but unfortunately there was no fluctuation of life there, obviously no life could survive. At this time, Xiao Yang already understood Dragon Soul's intention, but unfortunately it was too late to stop it. Looking at this dragon, its body must be a fire dragon, that's why it likes this flame so much. Xiao Yang had already felt that the power of the dragon soul began to explode, and was slightly startled. However, this dragon soul obviously did not expect that Xiao Yang, who is known as the Emperor of Yang, naturally would not be afraid of this temperature, and fighting in the crater would be beneficial to Xiao Yang without any harm. Xiao Yang suddenly stopped descending, and a milky white light burst out instantly, and then a scorching high temperature was like a scorching sun in the sky, vast and powerful, and it was overwhelming. Then, under the light of the flames, Xiao Yang also slowly saw the ground here. Quietly looking at the dragon soul below, Xiao Yang suddenly found something reflective below. Immediately mobilized the huge soul power to take a closer look. The light below was extremely strong, making Xiao Yang hard to open his eyes, unable to see clearly at all. However, in Xiao Yang's soul realm, the appearance of that thing was clearly revealed. It turned out to be a long sword in an ancient form, and it was inserted into a rock wall in the crater below the heart, exposing only half of the sword body. Surprisingly, the sword body flashed a coquettish red light, which was very strange. Xiao Yang was shocked. Could it be that this sword is what Long Soul said before, the immortal sword obtained by the three masters thousands of years ago? Although Xiao Yang doesn't have much research on weapons, he also knows that this weapon can be called a fairy weapon. Naturally it has been tempered by the power of a fighting fairy. Big increase. As for the immortal sword, it is the divine sword. Legend has it that there is a ranking list of weapons in the 7 worlds. There are 16 magical weapons in the human world, and each weapon on it has the ability to swallow the sky and eat the earth. The ghost world has 10 evil soldiers, and the demon world has wearing the top 10 weapons. In short, every realm has a powerful magic weapon. At this time, the dragon soul below was flying in the flames of the crater, its body was growing continuously, and its strength was rapidly increasing. A wild aura instantly broke through the milky white flame defense that Xiao Yang had set up beside him, suppressing Xiao Yang's originally powerful aura. The dragon soul roared wildly. At this time, the body had reached a length of more than 50 feet, and a thickness of more than 10 feet. It was like a fetish in the sky, and it was appalling. Looking at Xiao Yang above his head, the dragon's soul roared loudly, the dragon claws danced, and a giant tail of flames instantly rose into the air, rolling directly towards Xiao Yang. The raging flames shot across the sky, and the entire space suddenly flourished, and a sea of flames several dozen feet wide immediately surrounded Xiao Yang. In the huge eyes of the dragon's soul, a proud look flashed, and his body suddenly flew up, his fiery red tail aimed at Xiao Yang, who was surrounded by flames, and slammed wildly, obviously wanting to destroy Xiao Yang in one fell swoop without giving him any escape. Gap! Xiao Yang's eyes were fiery red, and with a flick of the ancient ruler, a milky white flame immediately filled Xiao Yang's body. At the volcanic crater below, there was a strange brilliance in the flames, but those with a discerning eye could see it at a glance. Out! The flame on Xiao Yang's body was undoubtedly much stronger than the one at the crater below, but Xiao Yang deliberately suppressed it, so the dragon's soul didn't find it. At this time, the underground crater contained incomparably hot flames. While the dragon's soul strengthened itself with the help of the flames, it was also constantly strengthening Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang turned on the Fenju, absorbed the thick flame energy around him with all his strength, and quickly filled up his fighting chi in order to deal with the dragon's soul. Xiao Yang was on the crater of the volcano and was surrounded by dazzling flames, so he couldn't see the dragon's soul at all, but he knew everything about the dragon's soul very well. Although Xiao Yang's eyes were blocked by the flames of the crater, his soul power clearly showed all the actions of the dragon's soul in his mind. Xiao Yang let out a sneer in his heart, and the ancient ruler of eternal fire in his hand trembled, and the terrifying flame of a ruler shot out instantly, meeting the giant tail of the dragon's soul. And he was also at the same time, 3,000 thunderbolts unfolded, and instantly moved a distance of 80 feet away, avoiding the tail of the dragon's soul. Standing still in the void, Xiao Yang's body flashed with milky white flame light, and looked coldly at the dragon's soul in front of him. Xiao Yang also knew that the Bing Xianjian at the crater was obviously guarded by the dragon's soul, and the only way to get it was to defeat the dragon's soul. Moreover, according to Xiao Yang's previous guess, the strength of this fire dragon is very likely to have the strength of Do DS Peak, but the body is destroyed and the strength is greatly weakened, but I don't know why the fire dragon is fleeing here, so Xiao Yang is also be careful. Xiao Yang opened his mouth and said, I didn't expect your original body to be a fire dragon, but I just don't know why you have been fleeing here. Dragon's soul opened his huge mouth and shouted angrily, Human, you don't have to talk nonsense. Since you came here and discovered the secret here, don't think about leaving alive. Here, everything is my world, I can do whatever I want, and no one can help me. The fire is raging to the sky, the dragon's soul is not broken, and no one can kill me. You should die. The dragon's soul showed its body, the dragon claws flew, and countless flames suddenly rose from the ground, forming a strange fire formation, surrounding Xiao Yang. In the middle, the flame of this crater was actually controlled by this fire dragon. Xiao Yang was also shocked. Although Xiao Yang was not afraid, even Xiao Yang, who was the Yang Emperor, did not have such means. The dragon's soul opened a giant mouth, and the flames in the dragon's mouth and the dragon flames below swept Xiao Yang wildly, and the momentum was extremely terrifying. Xiao Yang's eyes were slightly solemn, the high temperature around him could melt everything in an instant, and inside, his whole body was soaked with sweat. Xiao Yang hurriedly placed 9 lines of Do-Chi defenses around his body, layer upon layer to protect himself tightly. Then, through the exploration of soul power, it was found that the dragon's soul at this time was at least several times stronger than the previous power, which was simply appalling. Xiao Yang was very cautious in his heart. Although he was already at the peak of the 3-star Do-Di, he had to be very careful when he encountered this mysterious fire dragon here. Feeling that the dragon's soul started to attack with all its strength, Xiao Yang also became solemn. Under the operation of Fenju, layers of energy composed of milky white flames continued to attack the fire dragon, tenaciously resisting the dragon flame of the dragon soul with its aura of destruction. Xiao Yang was standing in the great fire formation at this time, his body was tense, his hands were slightly stretched out, and the ancient ruler of eternal fire was brewing in his hands. Looking at the huge dragon soul, Xiao Yang gave a cold smile, his hands clasped together instantly, 2 powerful flames that were decidedly different suddenly met, and a violent explosion suddenly occurred. 7th layer breaking the sky ruler. Xiao Yang raised his hands high, and then his body was full of fighting chi to the extreme. He aimed at the dragon's soul in front of him and attacked viciously. He saw a dark red shock wave with the aura of erosion and destruction, and instantly hit the dragon's soul. Body. Originally, with the strength of Dragon Soul, it was naturally able to evade Xiao Yang's attack, but Dragon Soul was also rebellious and arrogant, so it resisted Xiao Yang's attack, but it obviously underestimated Xiao Yang's attack. The Dragon Soul roared violently into the sky, and his body was instantly hit by Xiao Yang's attack, and then the body-protecting Dragon Gang shattered, and the entire body of the Dragon Soul fell towards the volcanic crater below. The milky white flames on Xiao Yang's body also dimmed a lot. Obviously, this blow was also a big burden on Xiao Yang. Looking at the Dragon Soul falling towards the volcanic crater below, Xiao Yang knew that it would not die like this. Although this blow broke its body-protecting Dragon Gangster, it would not have a fatal blow to it. Xiao Yang's soul power clearly felt that its still tyrannical power was rapidly recovering. Xiao Yang was very surprised. He was thinking about the secret here, and at the same time, there was a terrifying energy quietly condensed in his hands. According to what the Dragon Soul said before, the three masters 1,000 years ago destroyed his dragon body, but none of them could kill it. In the end, one was killed and two injured, so he could only be trapped here. In this way, I am afraid it is not easy to kill its soul body. Xiao Yang also pondered quietly. It is quite difficult to deal with this Dragon Soul by himself. Let's not talk about the strength of this Dragon Soul. Destroying this Dragon Soul will make Xiao Yang helpless. Now it seems that the only way is to fight poison with poison, that is, to use his huge soul power to destroy the soul of this Dragon Soul. Judging from the experience just now, although this Dragon Soul is extremely powerful, it is also quite weak in defense of the soul, so this method is very useful. I hope that it would be a pity to destroy the Dragon Soul. Previously, Xiao Yang's Huang Chuantian's anger and the attack of the strange fire also brought a lot of load to the Dragon Soul, so the Dragon Soul suffered a little bit of damage. With a loud roar, Dragon Soul's body rose into the air again, and in the blink of an eye, it had regained its original strength. Long Hun looked at Xiao Yang and roared, "Human, it seems that I underestimated you. I didn't expect you to have such a powerful flame in addition to your strange movement skills. What a surprise." Long Hun also looked at Xiao Yang greedily as he spoke. The terrifying fluctuations of the milky white flames on Xiao Yang's body were more powerful than the energy of the flames in the crater below. In the beginning, this secret realm was a space opened up by an immortal warrior. The space was filled with a flame formation, which was used to seal the fire dragon. However, the three previous seniors obviously did not know that the Dragon Soul was born with fire and loved flames. The flame not only did not weaken the power of the Dragon Soul, but made the power of the Dragon Soul stronger, so that it failed. So Dragon Soul relied on his own power to change this formation into the current crater, but now Dragon Soul sees the flames on Xiao Yang's body and becomes greedy. The more powerful flame energy can make the Dragon Soul more powerful. I don't know what else you can do. Show it all off. I said here that no one can kill me. Now I'll look at you again. What other means are there? Although I am in a state of soul, it is effortless to deal with you, but you are also the first human being who has entered so far, so I will slowly torture you to death when you are exhausted. Flickering with raging fire, it is very coquettish, and the breath on his body is also more and more solid. Xiao Yang said coldly, "I don't believe that I can't take care of you." When the words fell, the radiance of the ancient ruler of the eternal fire flashed in his hand, and a ruler several dozen feet long, with the momentum of tearing everything, fell vertically, as if it is like opening a mountain and cracking the ground, directly hitting the huge body of the Dragon Soul. With a wave of the Dragon Soul's claws, a dragon-shaped energy met Xiao Yang's isle. At the same time, the Dragon Soul's huge mouth opened slightly, and a cyan flame was like a spirit snake, expanding and contracting endlessly, rolling directly towards Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang's eyes turned cold, and a gloomy white flame instantly condensed in the palm of his right hand, and shot it at the cyan flame. With a palm shot, Xiao Yang's body instantly shifted and appeared on top of Dragon Soul's head. I saw Xiao Yang full of brilliance of dozens of flames flowing, 22 colorful rays of light instantly filled the entire space, and the flames around him were instantly suppressed by his tyrannical and domineering momentum. Xiao Yang's eyes burst into 22 colors of brilliance, and the power of his soul was also instantly released, frantically destroying and attacking the brain nerves of the Dragon Soul. At this moment, Xiao Yang's whole body instantly revealed an arrogant and peerless Vulcan aura. At this moment, the entire space was filled with his domineering and wild flame power. Xiao Yang stared at the Dragon Soul with a cold look in his eyes, just like a of fire descended, arrogant to the world. Dragon Soul's body took off, fierce eyes flashed in his eyes, his mouth opened angrily, and he was very mighty. His body was about to sweep Xiao Yang when suddenly, a mysterious force easily broke through its body-protecting dragon gang, instantly hitting its central nervous system and frantically destroying the brain nerves in its soul realm. The dragon's soul was shocked, and the desolate ghost's fierce roar filled the entire space. The scream was very miserable and dazzling. I saw that its body exploded automatically in an instant, and it suddenly recovered into a red air mass, which kept flashing the brilliance of on and off. At this time, the dragon's soul was severely injured, and the body was shattered by the tyrannical soul power, and the nerve center of the brain had been severely damaged. The entire space was filled with its terrifying screams, which were extremely startling. When Xiao Yang saw this, the huge soul force was also pouring in, not loosening at all, and firmly locked the dragon's soul. It is the so-called one-shot, then weak and exhausted. At this time, Xiao Yang just wanted to take a breath to shatter the soul power of the dragon's soul, so as to achieve the purpose of killing it. At this moment, the dragon's soul shrunk into a jong-sized red ball of light, flickering and flying in the air, obviously trying to get rid of Xiao Yang's attack. It's a pity that it doesn't know that Xiao Yang's soul power is very miraculous. Attacks are not divided into time and space. No matter how you move your body, it is unavoidable. The dragon's soul screamed and dodged. After a while, it seemed to understand that it could not avoid the attack of this mysterious power, and everything was in vain. The dragon's soul begged for mercy at this time, only to hear its voice coming from the ball of light. "Damn human, stop it. What kind of power are you? Stop it." There was trembling in that voice, and it seemed that it had suffered enough. Xiao Yang's eyes narrowed, and he was thinking about what Dragon's Soul said. Is it true? After all, it was the first time they met, and no one could say whether it would be believed or not, so Xiao Yang needed to consider it. After thinking for a while, Xiao Yang withdrew his soul power, looked at it coldly and said, "I hope your words are true. I can stop attacking, but if your words are false, you should understand that I am not. I'll let you go. You." Before Xiao Yang finished speaking, he suddenly stopped, and his body was immediately surrounded by a red air mass. The dragon soul suddenly appeared beside him when he recovered his soul power, and the huge dragon mouth swallowed him in one bite. At this time, the voice of the dragon soul came. "Human, you are indeed very powerful, much more powerful than that person back then. But I hate human beings, so I won't let you go. Now I will send you to hell, and let the fire of refine you all." After speaking, the dragon's mouth closed tightly, and then the dragon's mouth the hot flames also emerged. Bang bang bang! Xiao Yang in the dragon's mouth suddenly turned into a puff of white smoke and disappeared. It is the clone technique that Xiao Yang cultivated. At this time, Xiao Yang's heart not only felt a little bit of anger, but the fearful soul power was released again. This time, Xiao Yang was ruthless, and the power of his soul turned into an energy that could not be detected by the naked eye. What's the matter? However, Dragon Soul also found something wrong and walked towards Xiao Yang. Just as Dragon Soul was about to arrive in front of Xiao Yang, an extremely hot and terrifying wave radiated out. Lotus of Silence. Xiao Yang threw it out from the palm of his hand, and an extremely delicate lotus seed with 22 colors rushed towards the Dragon Soul. This video will end here.